Well, that went badly. Okay, so elections in Virginia, New Jersey, and New York City. Second topic is conservative division. And third topic is why black people is gay. Not anything against gay people, it's just a different type of gay. Okay, so Virginia, New Jersey, New York City all went kind of predictably blue. I was probably predicting that. And New Jersey is such a tease. People always think it's going to go red, but then it never actually does. Maybe in another few cycles, it's just not there yet. Virginia always goes the opposite of the president for the last 20 years. Republican last time, similar to Senate blue, pretty much a blue state, um, at least in recent history. But it makes sense. It's like half the jobs in Virginia are government jobs. So it's not really surprised that it will be eventually be as blue as Maryland is. It's not really surprised. I am surprised the Attorney General went blue. Apparently, you can say you can fantasize about killing about your political opponent's kids being dead and still have votes from Democrats. Good to know. Anybody who was thinking that, oh, Democrats are more normal now, they're going to wake up and just care about the working class and economic issues. Nope, still crazy. Still can't be trusted with power. Anybody who thinks that, no, maybe the Democrats be more sane than Republicans now. Well, they elected an attorney general who, like, I don't really blame the governor candidate for being like pro her party or whatever, but Democrats voted for in big numbers for an attorney general who sent their second messages. I don't want to hear another word about anybody complaining about what Trump says that's naughty or whatever. You elected somebody who is okay with fantasy, who texts messages about fantasizing about kids dying. Anything you say about what Trump says is meaningless at this point. I don't give a shit what you say about what's proper or polite to say. It's obviously not something you actually believe in. So don't care. New York City is a bit sad, but it's inevitable. Let's face it, half of New York City is crazy. Well, is a crazy left wing. The other half was split down the middle between Cuomo, a very terrifically unpopular guy right now, and a Republican who had no business really staying in the race. Um, I think if I had to guess that Trump probably wanted Mamdani to win based on the fact that he endorsed Cuomo, which is pretty much the closest thing to endorsing Mamdani as you can really do in reasonably blue in New York. Um, my brother doesn't think it's a big deal. He thinks that the city will keep being run. They have 2 years. Plus, the biggest voting demographic for Mamdani was probably uh, rich, liberal, white women, basically. And they're going to move out of the city if crime gets bad. So it might just be a self-solving problem. New York City's been around for a long time. Bureaucracy has been around for a long time. Is this a mayor who shows up for 2 years and knows nothing about any of the political system, about any of the bureaucracy? Will we going to change anything? I mean, we see Trump and the federal government trying like hell to change bureaucracy, and it's not actually changing. I'm not convinced it's the end of the world. Best case scenario is he does a good job with New York, and maybe we discover some new ideas about how to govern cities and states and stuff. Worst case scenario, New York goes to hell, and it shows how stupid liberal ideology is. Either way, I'm not too concerned about New York. The Attorney General within Virginia is much more striking to me because that's who the center left picked. Um, I don't under it's a bit of a wake call, in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes. I'm not 100% about anything I believe. So maybe I do think it's going to go badly in New York. Yeah, but my brother has good instincts about this kind of thing, so maybe not. Second topic is going to be conservative division. You may have noticed that there is a bit of conservative civil war going on right now, with people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes spending a lot of their time complimenting each other and bashing the rest of us. That's not helpful. It's not. I don't want to be represented by somebody who thinks Hitler was a cool dude or that Stalin was a great man. I don't want to have to defend that. I don't want to be represented by that. I don't want to be anywhere near that kind of ideology. Like, liberals can have some bad thoughts and have some bad policies and stuff. I don't think I've heard a leftist say good things about Stalin. Nick Fuentes has. Um, it's just so stupid. Why is this person getting any attention? Now I'm giving him more attention now, ironically. His content is content. I want to be talking to a phone, talking to a computer for a few minutes today. But no, I like the Steven Crowder rule. Steven Crowder had a rule. He had a whole video about this. Well, what counts as MAGA, what doesn't? And one of the points he made is that there are some definite points at which we have to have agreement. Free speech, gun rights, a general belief in the Judeo-Christian in the Christian tradition of the West. General belief in the West. General belief in capitalism, even though that can be argued. And one of them was you don't spend the preponderance of your time attacking other conservatives. You support your own side. Fuentes fails this. He actually told people not to vote for Trump. He's not a conservative. He's not a right winger. He's not on our side. Why are you pretending he is? Now, there's a few reasons. First of all, if you're an accelerationist, there's an argument for accelerationism. If you think everything's going to go to hell, you may as well have it happen quicker so that people can remember the current state of things and rebuild faster. The foundation approach. Okay. Other than that, it's very, very stupid. Like, I'm a conservative. Liberals are very good at staying behind each other, sticking to their guns, aiming at us and their policies and stuff. You saw that with Spanberger in Virginia, stuck with her attorney general. You see that pretty much across the board. There are some exceptions, but the left is very good at, you know, not shooting their own side or not stabbing their own side in the back. It's a pretty low bar. And somehow people like Fuentes don't do that. And also it's like the state of despair I'll talk about that next. It's just not useful. You see, I want to win. I'd like to actually, win. You may have heard of it. I know you I know you all you grapers have like a fetish for losing. I like winning. And also, what are you doing like supporting like freaking Palestine? Like, I get if you don't want to be involved. Okay, fair. I get that argument. But if you're supporting Hamas, what the that doesn't compute. You realize that the biggest enemy of the West right now is people like that. You realize that, right? And yet you're attacking our guys. All these things you're doing, all these things you far right people are doing, doesn't seem to be helping the right very much. No, it seems to just be stabbing us in the back and weighing us down by association with you. And meanwhile, you don't seem to care about winning at all. You don't seem to be concerned with winning an argument. Like, I kind of get if you're like, okay, if you're organizing a small group of people, whatever, yada yada yada, the red election approach. Okay, you're not. None of you have the guts to actually do something like that. And you're like, oh, there's another way. You say, no, there isn't. No, there isn't. No, you win it in a democracy, which is what we have. Or actually, in all honesty, most other systems too, feudalism, bureaucracy. Most systems you win by capturing the middle. The only system you win by having a small minority that takes over everything is actually a leftist strategy, not a rightist. So you win arguments, you get more people onto your side, and right now it's close. We have a slight majority of population. And so who do we need to get on board? We need to get women on board. We need to get racial minorities on board. Get them all join us. Bring a bigger tent. Now your approach is to throw all those people away and invent more people. Is that your plan? Invent new people out of smoke and mirrors. That's not a great plan. So honestly, there's a pretty wide scope of conservative beliefs that I'm cool with. If you get to that side where you're attacking your own side more than the other side, you're not with us. Go away. Especially with some of your boys, like being pro-Nazi. What? No, no. There's no conceivable universe I could ever be on your side. So final topic, black pill. So that's the actual argument of these people. It's the black pill argument. The black pill is basically everything's doomed, so just hide in your basement and wait for the end of civilization. That's basically the actual belief system. I saw this a while ago with the red pill community. Do you notice that in the bowels of the comment sections of red pill groups, a lot of them just like hate women and just decided that, oh, well, I'm never going to find anybody, so just give up and everything's awful and it's going to be awful for all time. And they're really obsessive with it because, like, people who don't actually care about dating, they don't go on comment boards talking about how they don't care about dating. They're just out doing other stuff. They're playing sports, they're doing art, they're doing work, they're doing, their jobs, they're enjoying life. They're not like obsessing over it. And that's basically where the incel community came from. You can see it developing over time with the Red Bull group. Um, Same kind of thing, probably same kind of people are doing that in the conservative community now, where everything's doomed, civilization is done, we're all going to lose. So just don't vote or just whinge about people you don't like on the internet, which isn't helpful. It doesn't win. You need some hope. And I think the black pill community is a part of the human nature that just wants to say everything is doomed. Everybody has felt this despair, right? Everybody has felt this kind of like it's all meaningless. And there's a point at which you can be like that if you're like everything is meaningless. But if you say I care about the kingdom of God or spiritual winning or spiritual enlightenment, whatever else, there's a place for that. But just to give up for the sake of giving up, and that's I think what's actually really motivating people to embrace people like Nick Fuentes and stuff. They want to just give up and say everything's doomed, and they want to do it in a very dramatic way, and it's just so bothersome. It's so freaking annoying. Like, it's not helpful. And let's say everything is hopeless. Well, how do you want to deal with that? Do you want to be Denethor in Gondor? Okay, bring out the Lord of the Rings references. Do you want to be Denethor and immolate yourself and pour, pour oil on yourself and say, "I'm going to die like my ancestors"? Meanwhile, trying to burn alive the hope of your line, the hope of your lineage, of your legacy, and giving up the fight and telling everybody to despair. Do you want to be Denethor? No, you don't want to be Denethor. This is why, of course, so many of these far right people are neo pagans because they're Denethor. No, you want to be Theoden. That it's like that scene going into the Battle of Pelennor Fields. Ride for death, ride for glory, ride for the Red Dawn. It's like, yeah, Theoden, yes, Theoden King. Um, that's who we want to be. We want to be the people who fight, and like not in a violent way, of course, but like we want to be the people who keep hope, who like charge into the brink. And maybe we don't make it. Maybe we don't win. I still rather go out like that than like Denethor. I'd rather go out full of hope and bravery and courage and all those good virtues that we we grew up caring about. Not the beta virtues or like making money or having a job or anything, but like we want to be knights. And sometimes the knights lose fights, but we don't give up the knighthood, right? Anyway, I kind of got off topic here, and you also don't know how things are going to go. The Naboo in the Phantom Menace. They ended up getting their butts kicked, and yet things work out in the end. And they do run away though, so maybe that's not the best example. But we want to have that kind of honor, right, with regards to what we do. Anyway, that's all I got. Cheers for now.